Welcome in, Dirty Birds fans, to our Falcons mailbag, answering the most pressing Atlanta Falcons questions from real Falcons fans just like you and just like me. Now, before we get on into it, because we have had so much time between Falcons football games, what is your excitement level for this Bills game? Scale it 1 to 10 for me. Get up there if it's a 10. If you're like me and you're like, I cannot wait to get into this Bills game on Monday Night Football. Or if you're like, I'd rather watch paint dry, then it could be a 1. Either way, let me know in the comment section down below. Let's get into our very, very first question on today's episode from fan favorite, The Bright Wolf. When can we expect Troy Anderson back? I have no idea. I mean, Raheem Morris said that he's one of those players that could activate that 21-day practice window. So essentially, whenever they do that, that would be from the time that they opened up that practice window, 3 weeks to either put him on the active roster or to send him back to the IR for the rest of the season. So my assumption is they might keep him on short-term IR just a little bit longer, because he was on the PUP list going into the season. But once they open up that practice window, anything can happen. So if I had to make a guess, week 7, week 8, maybe? Maybe week 9. I'm not entirely sure yet. But The Bright Wolf, thank you so much for your question. Trenton coming in with a $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Who's next, Alford or Phillips? For the only two there are on the practice squad for a reason. So again, bench him for who? Talking about Mike Hughes, a different segment that we did earlier today. And look, like I said, Alford and Phillips are two logical options, but you could also put Natrone Brooks in. You could also activate Kobe Bryant from the practice squad. I just know that Mike Hughes has been cooked over and over and over again. He's giving up a 110 opposing quarterback passer rating this year and has allowed 3 touchdowns on the season. For reference, in 2024, he only gave up 4. So what does that tell you? I mean, with A.J. Terrell out, I understand it's harder because now you're on opposing teams' number ones. He's clearly getting beat by them over and over again. So Mike Hughes showing his age, not quite what we're looking for. I hope that answers your question. On. If the Falcons lose to the Bills and still look good in that loss, it would be a good day. Absolutely. Look, I think the Bills are such a good team that if you went out and you lost that game 27-24, and the entirety of the game, Zach Robinson drew up a good scheme, and you were just getting beat by a far superior quarterback, because let's be honest right now, Josh Allen is far better than Michael Penix at this point. We don't know what the future holds for Michael Penix, so it's tough to say, that he'll never be better than Josh Allen. But what we know right now is that Josh Allen is a better quarterback. So if you went out there and played a far superior player and just got beat straight up, that's a tip of the cap to them for being that great. But you need to come out firing and swinging on all cylinders. What I don't want is another repeat of what happened in the Carolina Panthers game. I don't want to see them beat us or have the Buffalo Bills beat us 31-3, because if that happens, you're going to see a very unhappy Moose. Dave Joseph, why haven't we seen Dylan Drummond? I feel like he went off in the preseason. The Falcons decided to go with David Sills. Look, I said when that 53-man roster came out for the Dirty Birds that I was very confused about why they were able to go with Sills of the side of the likes of Chris Blair or Dylan Drummond. But the truth is that no Falcons wide receiver this year outside of Drake London has really done anything special. Did you know that the second best leading receiver on your team is Bijan Robinson? And he's not a wide receiver. So I think you have to go out and explore some trades for some other players. Maybe go out and trade for a guy like DJ Moore. That would be outstanding, wouldn't it? Maybe a guy like Jacoby Myers from the Las Vegas Raiders. Anything that would be better than what the Falcons are currently trotting out onto the field because of the injuries. Jack Sherwood. Interesting name. What does ESPN say about our chances to beat the Bills? I'm glad you asked that. It's a very good question. They actually give us a pretty decent shot to beat the Buffalo Bills. And there's actually an advanced statistic that ESPN found deep within the depths of their archives that are actually pretty cool. Did you know this? Teams on a Week 5 bye finish their season winning 56% of their games. I think that's pretty impressive. I think this is dating back to like the year 2000 too. So if a team has a Week 5 bye, for the rest of the season, they're essentially going above 500. In fact, ESPN went out and they did They did a little bit more of a deep dive. Here's what they said. Following the bye, the Chargers, there are two teams that they highlight in this article, the Chargers and the Eagles. The Chargers went on to a 9-4 record to end the season and made the playoffs for the first time since 2022. The Los Angeles Chargers used the early bye week to reflect on the young season and turn things around. Offensive coordinator Greg Roman ended up calling the bye a gift from the football gods, as the team used it to retool their offense and to clean up the penalties. The Eagles, the other team, on the other hand, lost just one game and then went on to win a Super Bowl. That was last year's Philadelphia Eagles, a team, by the way, that the Atlanta Falcons beat. Plus, I think there's also some good news when it comes to that Week 5 bye. You might have some players coming back that are key to beating the Buffalo Bills. Darnell Mooney and A.J. Terrell. So if you're telling me that we're getting a gift from the football gods, you could be getting two key players back, and that player or teams since the year 2000 have won 56.7% of their games coming out of the bye. All of that tells me that the Atlanta Falcons could end up making the playoffs in 2025. And if you want to join us for that game and every Falcons game that we have the ability to call, tune in for our live watch party on Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. But you got to make sure that you are subscribed, because we will give away a ton of really cool stuff, and we will also check out where the real ones are at. So hit that sub button today. Before we get to more questions here on the mailbag, I have to tell you about today's presenting sponsor, and that is our friends over at Factor. The fall time is just one of those times where you got to get back to your schedule, right? The kids are back at school. Maybe you've got a busier business routine, shorter days. So finding time to cook can be tough, and that's why I love Factor. Their chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. You can now savor global flavors. For the first time, try Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. From more choices to better nutrition, 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. Feel the difference no matter what your routine is. Eat smart at factormeals.com/FalconsChat50off and use code FalconsChat50off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code FalconsChat50off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Jonas, or however you pronounce it. I hope I'm not getting it wrong. Falcons, what wideout should the Falcons target in a potential trade this season? DJ Moore, Jacoby Myers. I would have told you Tyreek Hill, but he's done for the year now, so he scrapped that. But those two right now, DJ Moore is a yak monster, and I know that the Chicago Bears have not quite utilized him exactly the way they thought they would since Justin Fields left, so he could be an option. Jacoby Myers is probably looking to get out of Vegas because they're a complete dumpster fire of an organization. I think any two of those options could be really, really good. Trying to think of another wide receiver that could be a potential landing spot for them, but Pop Douglas from the the Patriots. Yeah, I don't want him though. That's producer Alper on the 1s and 2s being a loser. Either way, those two guys right there for sure. But thanks for asking your question. I hope that helps. Dat One Falcons fan, predictions for this game. Michael Penix throws for over 200 yards, 2 to 3 touchdowns, 0 INTs. Love that so far. And a rushing score. Wow. That is what you're saying. 3 to 4 touchdowns defensively. 4 sacks on Allen, and both Bates and Watts each get a pick. Jesus, man. You're going with the Madden stats, huh? All right. Hey, look, I don't hate it. If that happened, I'd love it so very, very much. But they call you Dat One Falcons fan for a reason. You're clearly high on your dirty birds. I love it. But I don't see it being that hectic. But you let me know, like I said, in the comment section down below what your excitement level is for this game. Bricked Up Studios. We'll do 2 more questions. We'll get on out of here. God, Bricked Up Studios. What a name. Would you consider Terry Fontenot to be on the chopping block if we miss the playoffs? Yes. Yeah. Like, look, you cannot continuously go 8-9, 7-10, and just barely miss out on the playoffs. With how bad this NFC South division is now with the Panthers and the Aints, you've got to get up there and at least find your way into the wild card spot. I know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been playing well. The Falcons should have beat them week 1. I'm sorry. I'm going to call a spade. They absolutely should have. So, yeah, Terry will definitely be on the hot seat if they don't make this, the playoffs this year. Officer Doofy. What are these names today? What's the most important factor to beat the Bills on Monday? Play clean, turnover-free football and come out with another offensive identity. Throw the ball down the field. The Bills have a bad rush defense, and they've got bad safeties. So you can bait and bomb, kind of like you did against the Washington Commanders. I think it's an excellent game plan. Now, what you can't have happen is just to go out and call a bunch of plays like you did against the Carolina Panthers and just hope that you can do something in return. Because, believe it or not, the Bills' passing defense has been one of the best in the NFL. I thought Drake May showed that you can absolutely get after them. In fact, they kind of stuffed the run and forced Ramondre Stevenson into some fumbles, too, on that Sunday Night Football game. So, turnover-free football for sure, and have an offensive identity. If you do, you'll at least compete. All right. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to hit that subscribe button, like today's video. As always, rise up and be cool.